I'm Emily.
And this is Two Moms.
One mic.
And today we're talking about... Oh, yeah, we got little mics. We're recording
little
in two
mics.
places today, trying to
Let's see if we can give you the best podcast we possibly can today. We're moving on up in the podcast world, I think.
What's today's episode on?
Today's episode is actually serious, so we shouldn't be laughing because that's not very nice.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
So Amanda and I have a shared experience.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about that.
Sorry, we shouldn't be laughing, but you know what? If you don't laugh, then you cry, and then that's not good. So our shared experience, unfortunately, is that we've both experienced.
I don't know why I'm smiling.
It's that nervous smile.
Yeah.
We both actually experienced chemical pregnancies. And if you don't know what a chemical pregnancy is, it is a form of a miscarriage. It's basically like you get pregnant, you are pregnant, and your body deems this non-viable. It's not safe and gets rid of the pregnancy.
You know what's funny? So when I went to my doctor and I said, I have a chemical pregnancy, she had no idea what I was talking about. I look at it as like a miscarriage that happens very early on, because I had it at 6 weeks, and I think you did as well.
Yeah, right? So we're gonna start from the beginning, and these are like the signs to know if you've had a chemical pregnancy. So usually you'll spot like a chemical pregnancy between like the 4 to 6 week range, because it's like, let's say you just missed your period, you're super excited, you go test, the line is very faint, but you're so pumped. So at least from my experience, that same morning I went to the doctors, I do my blood work, I get my blood work results back, and it shows my levels at like 14 or something like that. And the doctor was like optimistic, like he wasn't rude about it, and he was like, okay, like in 24 to 48 hours, come back and we're gonna redo it. And as long as it keeps doubling, you are pregnant. This is a viable pregnancy. And then the next day, I go to the bathroom and I'm bleeding. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm not supposed to be bleeding because I'm pregnant. So what's happening? So I went to the hospital. Me and my husband went to the hospital. They did an ultrasound. They did blood work. And they're like, yeah, no, you're not pregnant. Like, you're on your period. And, like, I found, like, they were very, like, you're not pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, be on your day. But, like, at that point, like, I was so convinced that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And especially because, like, at that point, we were also trying for, like, a few months. So it was, like, that first kind of, like, green light.
Yes.
And the doctors are like, yeah, so you're fine. Try again next time. And then I remember going to work at the time, because I took, like, the morning off because I was at the hospital. And my manager at the time, I explained it to her. I said, I was pregnant. This is what happened. They're telling me I'm not pregnant. She's like, oh, so like you weren't really pregnant. And like at that moment, I was like, oh, so it's, okay, maybe I actually wasn't pregnant.
They like you questioned.
Yeah, like it was very like downplayed. So at this point, like the doctors are downplaying it. People that I'm talking to are downplaying it. And I also like told like nobody knew that like this was just something like me and my husband dealt with.
Yeah.
We didn't tell anyone. We didn't tell friends. We didn't tell family. We didn't tell no one. For us, 2 months later, so this happened in December of 2018. By February of 2019, I got pregnant, found out I was pregnant March of 2019. So then I had my first son. But once again, I didn't actually start telling people that I even remotely experienced that loss. I would say, like, I already had my kid.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
no one knew.
I didn't, no one knew, no one talked about it. And then when I did bring it up, it was so nonchalant that people would look at me like, yo, you went through that and like, you didn't tell anyone?
It's because the people you told around the time of you going through made it not seem like a big thing. And then when you told other people, they're like, no, this is like actually a big thing. You went through a miscarriage.
Yeah. And then, so it wasn't really until that I actually felt like somewhat validated that like I did deserve to feel that grief and that loss and that pain, because prior to that, everyone was like, no, like you're on your period, like it's fine, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it obviously, like, it affected me and my husband because when we got pregnant, everything was like walking on eggshells because you already experienced that loss. And even though it was so quick and whatever, it was like you were scared to do anything and everything, right? Like anytime you went to the doctors, you didn't want to get excited because was that going to get taken away from you? I especially with my husband, like I noticed like his level of excitement, like just it wasn't there
for the second time.
Because no, for the first and like the second time. He was always approaching it cautiously.
Yeah.
So like you can't tell me that even such like a early on loss doesn't affect people, because like I saw it affects people. And like I said, when people in my closer circle finally found out, they were like, "Oh shit, like why didn't you tell us? Like we would have been there for you." And at the time I was like, I felt stupid bringing it up because it felt like not a real pregnancy.
Because of what the doctor said and the people around you said. So my chemical pregnancy lasted 5 days. So I found out on Good Friday that I was pregnant, and I was really excited. It was, again, for both of us, it was our first pregnancy.
Yeah.
And I think I told my mom on the Sunday. Like I told my mom, my family. I got tested and my levels was at 50. And I think it was because of you.
Yeah, I literally remember that conversation because I remember holding the phone and wanting to approach it so cautiously, because obviously I'm not here to fucking ruin someone's excitement.
But you were the one that like your approach honestly was my favorite approach, because everyone around me was like, no, it's fine, don't worry, you're pregnant, and you're like, get that number checked out again.
Yeah.
Like you kind of said to me like, yeah, you're pregnant, but like make sure, like you kind of put a little red flag in my head, like, hey, like in a good way though.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone was like sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
And then you weren't, but I needed that because like, or else I think they would have like shocked me even more than it did. Like, even though I was only pregnant for 5 days, I took my miscarriage really hard. I ended up like on a leave from work. I was more shocked that this was happening to me, I think.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that I was going through a miscarriage and that this could happen to me. And I became obsessed with researching miscarriages.
Yeah.
And I found out that 1 in 2 people go through a chemical pregnancy. Yeah. Which is mind-blowing. And it made me think back to that January when my period was a week late, and I was like, was I pregnant? And that's why? Like, maybe I was. And I actually did take a pregnancy test in January, and I thought I saw a faint line, but it was so faint that I was like, no, I'm seeing things. Yeah. So, I was at like a 50. So I was pregnant, and then that Wednesday, so a Friday to the Wednesday I started spotting. But my doctor already gave me like a bunch of blood requisitions to keep checking. Yeah. So that Wednesday night I went to go get checked out again. And then by that Thursday morning I got the results like that I wasn't pregnant. And I was very upset. I went on a leave at work. I took it really hard. I kind of blamed like my situation at work. Like I was in a really stressful environment.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that was the reason. I mean, but again, they're so common, and I think like,
but I feel like when it comes to the world of miscarriage, chemical pregnancies are like the least spoken about.
Yes.
Because when you hear of like miscarriages, I don't want to say you hear like the big ones, like that's a stupid way of putting it, but it's mainly like, maybe the person was closer to 12 weeks, or even, stillborns, or this or that. Yes. Like, you know what I mean? You don't hear about like the ones that catch it like really, really early.
And like you're right. Because like a part of me looked at it like, I'm lucky this is happening early, and it's crazy that like we even look at a miscarriage as lucky.
Yeah.
It's like in my head I was like, oh well, it's better at 6 weeks than 12 weeks, but it's never better. Like it's like we're trying to make ourselves feel better by
and like that. Honestly, that point there,
a bad situation, like trying to find the positives.
Like that took me like a long time to get over, because like I said, like because I just kept it like so internal and like kind of like pushed it down, and only like me and my husband dealt with it. Like I said, like it took me a very long time to acknowledge that was a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Because like even like sometimes like you go to like to your doctors, like after you have kids, they always say like if you fill out forms, how many, you know, times were you pregnant? How many live births do you have? Mm-hmm. And like for a while I'm like just one. Like with my first son, right? Yeah. Or like two. Cause like I was like, I didn't even like acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I did not acknowledge it. Which also, I don't know, was good, bad, whatever. Honestly, it wasn't until like I spoke to a medium that it really...
Oh yeah, you told me this. Tell everyone. This was nice.
So I don't know if anyone out there is into medium, psychics, any of that thing. I'm very much into psychic mediums.
I believe in it as well.
So I spoke to one who's amazing. She's honestly, truly amazing. And she said to me, like I didn't say anything. She's like, did you like lose a child? And I was like, you know, back in my head, I'm like, no, not really. But I was like, you know what? Yes, I did. And then she's like, did you think your second was going to be a girl? And I'm like, yeah, I was convinced that my second was going to be a girl. Like, I already had a boy. I was going for the girl, like, whatever. And she's like, yeah. So basically, you know, like we all have souls and all that stuff. And she was saying, like, in heaven, if you believe in heaven, I don't want to start a debate on that. But anyways, basically these souls. So my son's soul and my passed away daughter's soul were together. And the daughter was supposed to come through. And my son's like, hey, are you coming? Are you going? I'm ready. Are you going to go? And the daughter was like hooing and hawing. She's like, oh, I don't know. She goes, you know what? You go. She goes, I'm going to come back later. So this medium said to me, in the future, that soul will come back to Earth as a form of like a granddaughter. Yeah. And like, we're going to be really, really, really close. And honestly, some people might think that's absolutely ridiculous. Some people might have goosebumps listening to it. But for me, it was validation. Yeah. It was comforting. It was closure. And it was anything and everything that I needed at that moment. And I feel like at that point, I was like then comfortable to have these conversations with people or declare it on a form or, you know, acknowledge that that was something in my life that I did experience and I shouldn't, you know, keep trying to like pack it down.
Yeah, no, it definitely was something, but it's honestly because of your experience and the people around you like made it not seem like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like people around me validated my feelings and like made it justified my feelings. And again, like I even ended up in therapy from this. Like I became sick over it. Because I became obsessive over miscarriages, like information around them. And then I also just became obsessive over the fact that like, why me? Why am I going through this? Like I thought it was I was a COVID bride, so I really thought it was unfair that this was happening to me because it was like
another
one.
One.
Like let's pass the torch. Like so, I was just throwing myself a really big pity party for it.
Yeah.
And then again, like because of my obsession with stats, I guess, like getting pregnant, I got pregnant right away. I was anxious during that pregnancy and I was just so obsessed with like facts.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I gotta make it to 12 weeks because after 12 weeks, the chance of having a miscarriage is only 1.2%. Like I remember all the stats because I became so obsessed with them.
Yeah.
So, but.
No, I know. So, you know, I know people who've had miscarriages later on in their pregnancy and you know, close to even birth and having stillborns and that type of thing. And maybe one day, you know, we'll have someone on here who's willing to talk about that. But we just wanted to talk about our shared experience of having an early loss and validate to everyone out there, if you have gone through that, you can grieve. It is a loss. You experience something and that's traumatic. And whether you know, just rely on friends and family for support or go the route of therapy, like do what you have to do to help get past that. Because like in my experience, I buried that down for a very, very long time. Amanda is definitely way more proactive with her mental health, and kudos to you. She is on that. She has a lot of self-awareness and she knows the steps that she needs to take, where I'm a stuffer and I just push everything down. But if you're out there and if you have experienced this, currently going through it, whatever the case may be, you're not alone. don't let somebody make you feel less than, or that it's not the same because it doesn't fit like maybe a different textbook definition of a loss. A loss is a loss. And we're here to validate that for you and not to make you feel alone. Because even though I think as a society we are getting better talking about miscarriages, there's still a long way we can go.
Yes, yeah.
And that's why we felt this topic was important to share with you guys. And we hope that you're not alone in that.
Absolutely.
Anything else to add?
I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Whether it happens early on or later on, it's your feelings towards it are definitely valid, and no one should make you feel otherwise.
Yeah.
Until next time.